And after you leave a like, remember to smash the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to my channel as yet. And remember to hit the notification bell so every time I post a video, you can know right away. Subscribe, 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 subscribe.
What's up, my YouTube friends, viewers, subscribers, everybody? Welcome back to another banger motivational video. And what I will be talking about right now is being self-made. And exactly what it said, self-made. I'm not talking about inheriting stuff from your parents, inheriting stuff from your grandparents, family. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being self-made. So the definition of being self-made is like you had nothing, no status, not say a lot of money, and you build yourself based off your own like knowledge, as I said. So with that being said, is like, trust me, like stuff hits harder when you're self-made instead of like getting stuff, inheriting stuff from somebody else. Because like when you say born and like you're growing up, the less you have, the more value you will have with things, and the more hungry you will be. Because like if you didn't receive a lot of stuff like growing up, then you're hungry for that, and then you will end up giving yourself everything that you always wanted, especially if your parents are poor. That's the definition of self-made. Sorry. So not say poor, but if your family or your parents didn't have a lot of money to like throw you a big sweet 16th birthday party, and when you're 18 they couldn't buy you the latest Porsche. So with that being said, is if your family like say had money but they couldn't say give you everything that you wanted, then it sort of make you more stronger mentally, because like you can see that your parents can't give you all the stuff that you want. So with that being said, you grow up and then you start giving everything to yourself that you always wanted, like this guy. Well, my family had money, but I just always wanted more, and everything that I like is expensive, so I can't put that burden on my parents. So I think for me, I classify myself as being self-made, because like everything that I know and everything that I'm doing is from my own effort. That's what you call being self-made. Like, you grow up and then you figure out like who you are, you figure out your skills, your talent, if you got any, you figure out what is it that you like, and then you start pushing forward based off on what you know. Because like what I always say in my motivational videos is you can't learn to drive in a parked car. So with that being said, is you have to take risk. You have to put yourself out there. Well, not like that, but you have to put yourself out there, and you learn as you go. Like being self-made, like I said, is like everything about you basically inherit nothing. Because let me tell you something. You see, when you come straight from the bottom and you become successful or famous, like that hits harder than when you inherit everything from somebody else. Because like imagine if you inherit say $1 million from your grandparents when they pass, god forbid, when they pass, you inherit $1 million from them. With that money, you're not going to work, you're not going to feel like you want to work, you're not going to feel like you want to do nothing for yourself, because you got $1 million. You're probably going to go take out a course or do something that you love. If you're smart enough, you probably send yourself to school and pay your 20-30 grand out of the $1 million. You're probably gonna get, say, go buy a latest car for maybe 100 grand cash, because you got $1 million. If you're smart, then you're probably gonna go buy a house. But guess what? The moment you start spending that $1 million, that money starts to go down. So if you inherit $1 million, you're classified as a millionaire because you got $1 million. But once that money dropped from $1 million to 900 grand, you are no longer a millionaire. And then you're gonna buy all these stuff that you don't need. If you're smart, you probably will send yourself to school. But if you're not, you're probably gonna say to yourself, well, I got $1 million. Why should I go pay 30 or 40 grand to go to law school or to become a pilot? Why should I go spend that big money when I got $1 million? I can kick my feet up and everything, not knowing 10 years from that moment you're going to be broke. You know why? Because you didn't go get a job, you didn't go start a career, you didn't do nothing with yourself. That's why people that always inherit stuff always end up being broke in the long run. People that are self-made, that were risen up from nothing, they have the mentality to always have stuff coming in. So if you're self-made, you will drive forward in order to get that $1,000,000. But when you reach that $1,000,000, what's the first thing you're gonna want? You're gonna want to keep money coming in. And then you're gonna say to yourself, you know what? I need to invest some, and then I need a house, I need a car. You know what I mean? I need my own business. That's people that are self-made. Always have the money coming in. You guys may want to tell me that I'm wrong, and you probably feel like what I'm saying is complete garbage, but look at all those people that got stuff from their family, got stuff from their parents. They got everything. Look at where they are today. All those kids that got like the most expensive game, the most expensive toy when they were growing up. Their parents had a bunch of money. They got everything they always wanted. Where are they now in their 20s and 30s? Where are they? But those ones that are being self-made, that came up from nothing, didn't inherit anything from nobody. They use their own knowledge, their own skills, their own technique, their own talent, their own everything, like everything about them. They use that in order to become wealthy and always have money coming in. You ever see a person that is self-made go broke? Never. Because when a person is self-made, like let's say they go get a job at say 16, because once you're 16, you're classified to work. Well, say part-time or a holiday job or whatever. Because I started working when I was 16, like as a holiday job. So when you go learn how to be paid at a young age, it makes you value your money more and manage your money more. Because like if you say you didn't work a regular job in your life and your parents send you to school till you're 50, well, that's exaggeration. Or let's say you graduated from high school, then you're like, okay, I got all this money, I'm gonna put you in say a course. It's gonna take 7 to 10 years before you get it done. By the time you finish all that course and they spend all that money, you're almost 30. Then what? The first thing you're gonna say to yourself is, oh well, I need my own place, so I need my house, I need a car, I need all this kind of nonsense with $0 in your bank account. A lot of people not know this. A lot of people don't know that when their parents pay for their college tuition, once they finish, they got $0, because guess what? Their parents tell them. And you know, most parents that make all these mistakes are the ones that are self-made. Because people always tend to think, oh, I had to work hard for everything that I have, so I need my kids to not work as hard as me, and I want to give my kids the world. Nothing is wrong with that, but what you're doing is creating the same cycle that it was before you. Because guess what? Your parents didn't have it like that to give it to you. Your parents may have had money to say put food on the table every day and, you know, pay bills and everything, but they didn't have a lot of money that they could take you traveling. So when you're young, you notice that your parents didn't have it like that to give you, right? And this is for mostly people in their 20s and 30s. So let's say your parents didn't have it like that to travel the world with you and take you out of the country and, you know, like do all that big stuff. They didn't have it like that to do it. So they live a average life. You know, you see them going to work, they come home, food on the table, like average life. You're gonna grow up and then you're gonna say to yourself, well, my parents didn't have it like that, so I want to create something for myself where I can bring my family, my wife, my husband, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my kid, if I got any, I want to travel with them. You now develop that mindset because your parents couldn't give that to you, so you then want to give it to someone else. So with that being said, when you become successful and wealthy, you're self-made, so you tend to want to do all this kind of stuff for your family and your kid, not knowing your kid is going to grow up not knowing how it feels like to earn stuff or get stuff for themselves. They never get paid before because you have all this money. Then you send them to school, you pay for everything until they're 30. Then what you didn't understand was, even though you did everything for your child, which nothing is wrong with that, but when you do all of that, all you're doing is making your child grow up not knowing how to earn anything. That's why if you're rich and you have a kid and you spoil your kid is going to have another kid, and that kid, your grandkid, is going to be the same as your parents. It's always end up like that. Always end up like that. So people that are self-made that become rich, I'm not gonna say rich. Rich is like having a lot of money. But people that are self-made that become wealthy with like multiple businesses and all these money coming in, they remember they didn't like say travel the world. Their parents couldn't do that for them. So they think, oh, I need to do this for my kid. But when you do that for your kid is gonna grow up being spoiled, not knowing how to earn anything. Because they have all this money. They're used to that type of lifestyle that you created because you're self-made, because you worked hard. And as a parent, well, I'm not a parent, but I think as a parent is you need to make your kids know how to earn stuff for themselves within themselves. Because if you have kids and your kids grow up and your kid do not know how to earn nothing, what's the point of your success? What's the point of you having all this money in your account if your kid is gonna grow up being like, say, not say bro, but being a deadbeat? They don't have the mentality to want stuff for themselves. Then you pass away, everything that you got, they inherit. Hence, they will be a millionaire. Then they don't have to work, they don't have to do nothing. But when they get their kid, it's gonna be the same cycle all over again. Sorry, because their kid is gonna grow up and see, say, $1 million, and then all of a sudden they buy all these nonsense partying. That money go all the way down, and then that kid is gonna be the same like you. Grow up, the parents didn't have nothing. That's your kid. Like, bro, we live in a cycle where people that are self-made, they build themselves up. They always give their kid and their family everything. Like, listen, I'm not saying you can't give your kid the world, but at least make your kid feel like they earned it. The best thing you want is like having your kids know how to earn stuff. That's it. That's it. If they don't know how to earn it, the same cycle is going to repeat all over again. The same spot that you're in, watching your parents can't give you everything you always wanted, your grandkid is going to be in the same spot as you. When you become successful because you spoil your kid, then your kid is going to have a kid. That's your grandkid. And it's the same cycle repeating all over again. Now, let's go back to what I said. All those kids that inherit stuff, where are they now? Where are they? The ones that are buying businesses, the ones that are keeping themselves wealthy, the ones that always have money coming in, the ones that always want to learn are self-made people. But one mistake that self-made people make is giving their kid way too much and not let them know how to earn anything. That's one of the biggest mistakes they made. But like, not the point. Like, being self-made is you have to build yourself based off what you know and what you can do. And trust me, like I've said before, being at the bottom and you make it to the top hits way harder than when you inherit all this fame and flashy lifestyle from somebody else. Because when you inherit all those kind of stuff from somebody else, everybody already know like who you are and all this kind of nonsense. But when you're from the bottom, all those rappers, artists, all those people that came from the bottom, that stuff hit harder when they're at the top. Trust me, it always hits harder. And people that always inherit stuff always be hating on the one that like build themselves from nothing to something. Like, bro, like we live in a world where those that got everything willingly still hate on those that actually earned it. You know why? Because when you earn something, you have like, there's true meaning behind it. And like I said, if you're self-made and you have $1 million, you're not gonna go waste that $1 million because you worked extremely hard, watching it from $5,000 to $10,000 to $100,000 to $500,000 to $1 million. So you've watched your money grow, while they got like one standard money, and they watch their money go down while you watch your money go up. People that inherit stuff always end up losing in the long run. And you know what's crazy is the fact that when we see people like inheriting stuff from family, we are like, most people that are self-made, like they didn't have much, they always seems to hate on them, especially if they're like the same age. They hate on them saying, oh, well, you get all this stuff from your parents because your parents are rich and everything. But give it some time. Give it some time. Like I always say this, the world that we live in, the race is not for the swift. Because when we're young, we hate on all those kids that have all these big stuff. But then when we grow up, we have all these people that inherit everything hating on us because we earn everything that we have. If that makes sense. So with that being said, that's how you can become self-made. You can't be self-made based off somebody else. Total garbage. You can't see somebody trying and then you go there and try to like jump on their bandwagon. That's like being self-made, as I said, is about you, what you can do. Like a lot of people always tend to think, oh, if everybody else is doing this, I should do it, and things work better as a group, which it does. Like 40% of the time when you're in a big group, like it works sometime. And when I say work, I don't mean like say work in a way where everyone can benefit from it. Because like if you go as a group, like the more name you have with one stuff, like let's say you got 10 people in one video, all those 10 people that's in the one video is going to want to share it. They're going to want to promote it because they're in it. But guess what? None of those people are self-made. You know what I mean? So with that being said, when you're in a group, people always tend to think things go faster as a group. Like for me, I think if you're in a group, a friend or a group that's like doing something, like when you're in a group of friends or a group of people, like not everyone is like 100% committed in making that their future goal. Some people are just there just to be there. But like I said, when you do stuff as a group, when the group break up, it's always the one that has the brain always end up going forward. Because like look at Destiny Child. It's only like say Beyonce and Kelly Rowland that I'm aware of that like still singing. Look at Backstreet Boys. The only person I know from Backstreet Boys is like, what's his name? Justin Timberlake. Look at say Mindless Behavior. All those people that were doing stuff as a group. When the group break up, everyone fall off. The only person that keep pushing forward was the brains behind the organization. It's like when you're in a group, people love to see like a bunch of people in a group, you know, doing something and looks productive and it looks cool. But guess what? If they're not like committed and they don't like, they never sat down and say, you know what, this is what I want, and you're like, this is what I want, let's work together. Like that's different. But when you got say 5 friends, 10 friends, like they're just there. Once that group of friends break up, like how much times have you seen a bunch of people in one spot, or everyone's like in a group doing something, and then all of a sudden they're not friends anymore, then everyone start going their separate ways? Then it's like, you were doing this 2 years ago, but you're not doing that anymore. That was because it was someone else. The person with the brains are always the ones that are self-made. Always. Because like if I can do my YouTube videos and I can collaborate with someone and I can have someone next to me doing something, obviously I tell them what I'm doing and you know what I mean, blah 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 blah. But once that person and me is no longer friends, what are they gonna do? See where I'm going? So if it's not something that they actually wanted, then they can't keep pushing forward in order to be self-made in the career that I'm doing. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of people think being in a big group, things move faster. No. No. Not everyone there wants the same thing. So in order for you to be self-made, you have to get up every day. You have to use your own strength in order to pull yourself up and be self-motivated in order to push yourself forward. And the only way you can actually do this and make it happen is you have to know who you are and you have to know the area that you're in. And once you love it, like I've always said in most of my motivational videos, once you figure out what is it that you're passionate about, you will automatically figure out how to move forward. Most times people can't figure out how to move forward. That's because they're in the wrong field and they refuse to see it that way because they rather be there doing it because everyone else is doing it. Be different. It's harder for you to be self-made when you're in the wrong field. People that are self-made always like do what they love. So if you're a person that's like, say, out there and you're having a lot of problems, like being better, you have a problem. You have like, you feel like you're trapped. You can't move forward. That's because you're in the wrong field, my friend. And I'm saying this because like I've said, bro, if you're passionate, if you're interested, if you love it, what's stopping you? Your brain would automatically figure out how to move forward. Self-made people are always the best. But if you're self-made, I recommend you make your kids learn stuff. Do not give them the world, because if you give your kid everything, your kid is gonna end up your grandkid is gonna end up the same like you. But like I said, being self-made is one of the best things you can ever like have. A lot of business owners are self-made. That's why they buy businesses. Do not waste your time trying to start a business. You know why? Because when you start a business, you spend all these money, taking out all these loans, doing all this kind of stuff. When you can work a regular job, live with your parents as long as you can, do not move out at 18, take a bunch of responsibility that you're not ready for, garbage. Get a full-time job, save as much money as you can. You can buy a business for $70,000. You may sit down and you may think, oh, people sell their business for $2 million, $3 million. You got some small business owners selling their business for 80 grand. So why are you spending all these money, taking out all these loans, owing the bank so much money, and you're buying a house, mortgage, car payment, student loans, car loan, like everything? Those are unnecessary. People that are self-made, they have the mentality of not say starting something from the bottom, because they already start from the bottom. So when you're at the top, you buy things that's at the top. No one that's like a 100% successful entrepreneur, that's like a business owner, is gonna go buy a store or go buy a land and build a store. Nope, they're gonna buy a store or buy a company that's already been productive, so they don't have to do more, because what they're looking for is extra income. Always keep money coming in. That's the definition of being wealthy, is you always have money coming in. People always get it mixed up with being rich. Everybody want to be rich, but they don't understand that being rich is just like having a lot of money. If you have 10 grand in your account, well, that's a lot of money. You are classified as rich, because you can probably take a day off and then you don't have to worry about it. But like, being rich is having a lot of money, but not a lot of money coming in. Wealthy is having a lot of money coming in, or even say not a lot of money coming in. Wealthy is like having money coming in. So in order for you to develop that mentality of like being wealthy from a young age, is like working a regular job and have your paycheck coming in, instead of sitting down waiting for your friend or your family to give you $200. Because like, when you earn it, it's better, because you know the value of it. When you inherit it, you don't know how it's like to get it, so you will eventually lose it. And I've made a couple of videos like this on TikTok too. I feel like most of the videos that I make on TikTok, I may elaborate more and make it into like, say, one big video. Because like, when I make TikTok videos, it's always like, say, 10 seconds or 15 seconds of me like saying stuff, but I feel like I may turn it into a bigger video and post it on YouTube, since it's like the same person that is me and the same thing. But like I've said, when you earn stuff, trust me, it hits harder. And when you earn it, it's harder for you to lose it. Like, look how much people like lose stuff. People that like lose stuff, like lose their house, lose their car, lose their job, lose their businesses. It's always someone that inherits something, because people that are self-made and was risen from the bottom, that actually grew mentally throughout the whole process, will fight for it. They will fight for it because they know how it's like to not have it. So you think they're gonna say give up everything willingly and not have it all over again, when they already know how it is to not have it? But people that inherit stuff that didn't know how it feels to get it will eventually lose everything every time. I've seen it over and over and over and over and over again. People that inherit stuff always end up losing everything in the long run. If you think I'm wrong, look at somebody that you know. When you were younger, their parents had some money and they were always that one rich kid in school, and they always inherit stuff. Look at where that person is today. Are they doing better than you? No. You are that one that didn't have much, and you are that one when everyone's enjoying their summer. You were probably having a little holiday job. When everyone is like partying their whole life, you were like, say, getting a full-time job. Look at where you are, and look at where they are. While they were partying and you were working, look at where you guys are right now. You probably sat down and like envy them. Oh, they're having fun. They're the same age as me and they're traveling. They're doing this and they're doing that. But it's not their money. It's not their money. But look at where you are today. Look at where you are compared to where they are. And you sat down and envy them because they were living better than you. Now look at you. Self-made is the best thing. But do not give your child everything. Let your child earn it. So I hope this message was useful for some of you guys. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. And stay tuned. I will be back doing more stuff. You go enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out. And don't forget to follow me on social media. I post daily on them.